Imagine you're sitting at home about to watch a movie with your spouse or your family, and your boss calls you and they say, "Hey, we just swapped you for another employee at a different company, and it's across the country, and you're going to have to move immediately, and you don't get a say in the matter." But not only that, they put your salary as public information, and an email gets sent out to both companies saying how much you make and that the exchange is going down. Sounds pretty crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what happens to professional athletes, regardless of the sport, every single season. So, this video is kind of inspired, or I thought of this idea from the massive NBA trade that just went down 2 weeks ago, sending the 25-year-old Slovenian superstar Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis to go to the Dallas Mavericks, among some other players. And I heard an interview with Anthony Davis where he literally was saying that scenario where he was about to watch a movie with his wife and he got the call that he was traded, having to uproot his life, no questions asked. And that really resonated with me. And then I also saw something that Luka Doncic actually purchased or built a home. I'm not exactly sure which. He built or purchased this home a week before the trade went down and that he would have to leave. We often just think of these trades as like transactions, like in a video game or something, analyzing which team got the better deal, but we rarely stop to think about the human aspect of these professional athletes. And so what we have to see is that these athletes aren't just employees to these organizations. They are quite literally assets to be bought and sold. A player's value is in their most recent performances. It's kind of the mentality of, what have you done for me lately? And it doesn't matter how great they've been in the past or their loyalty, their effort. Maybe they are a great person in the locker room that boosts team morale, their character, what they've done in the local community over years. If you're not putting butts in those seats or performing at the highest possible level, regardless of what you've done, they will trade you like that. Because to these businesses, they're trading contracts. Numbers on a spreadsheet, not people. Not thinking of how they have to find new homes, new schools for their kids, the loss of the relationships with these teammates and just the overall sense of belonging or getting used to where they've been. So let's imagine a couple different type of trade scenarios, like where a player could be traded for a single draft pick. And what that means is that you could get traded to another team, not for another player, but for somebody who doesn't even exist in the league yet. Imagine how that would make you feel. Or the fact that maybe you could be one of 3 or 4 guys getting traded over for one player. So you're essentially worth 1/4 of the other guy. And you stop to think, and it's like, what kind of toll would that take on your sense of self-worth to be that expendable for such a little piece of the trading puzzle? And so I would imagine it'd be hard to deal with. And when you watch these interviews of athletes and they're asked about, what do you think about this trade? Or when they're asked maybe about their own trades, there seems to be a common denominator that a lot of them say, and it's just a part of the business. It's just the business that we're in. You got to compartmentalize it, and it's just business. And I think that really is a coping mechanism for them, because otherwise, if you don't remove that emotional attachment and see where the front offices are coming from, it just causes too much pain and suffering on yourself. And some of you watching this may be thinking, well, dude, they're making millions of dollars. They're fine. I could do it. Yeah, the money sure helps, but the money becomes normal to them. In the same way, whenever you get something new, whether large or small, it becomes old hat after a little while. And so that money, they get used to it. That's human nature. And with that human nature, it doesn't erase the fundamental aspect that we all desire to feel valued, that humans want and crave stability and a feeling of belonging, and then no longer feeling wanted takes an emotional toll. That has an emotional effect on you. And so I think the best players and the ones that are able to cope with this the easiest are the ones that understand this business aspect and understand that it is just transactions, that loyalty is a myth, and they just have to focus on what they can control. So yeah, the game is ruthless. Players on these teams are seen as assets and not really people. And us fans, we often treat these trades as entertainment. It's almost exciting when something new happens. But for the athletes, it's their entire lives. So the next time you see a blockbuster trade, you got to ask yourself, if this happened to you, how would you handle it? would you be able to shrug it off as easily as you think, or would it feel like you're just a piece on a chessboard? So let me know your thoughts on this, and thank you all for watching.